Okay, we'll look at a clip from a friendly against Benfica, and as soon as Caldalo, the goalkeeper here for Leeds United, has the ball, he goes on to play the ball out to Ethan Ampadu. Now, Ampadu is playing the DM position, and Ampadu, as soon as Ampadu has possession of the ball, he kind of goes slightly in between the two central defenders that are playing on either side of him, and then he kind of forms a back three. So as the back three is in there, you can see that there's also another central midfielder in Archie Gray, as well as Gruev playing on the, what's this role called? The left central midfielder playing on the left hand side, and then he's slightly higher up as well. So those central midfielders kind of interchanged. And at that point that Ampadu has possession of the ball, we have a back three, and then we have another one player here, and the one player is Archie Gray, a lot closer to Ampadu. And then you have three players in Junior Firpo and Luke Ayling on either side as a wide fullbacks. They kind of form another three alongside Archie Gray. So you have 3-3-1-3, and this is kind of similar to what Marcelo Bielsa was trying to build on with Leeds United when he was in charge in 2021, kind of creating a 3-3-1-3 system from a 4-1-4-1 system. That's kind of how we've been able to do this on Football Manager 2024. And as soon as Ampadu has possession of the ball, he kind of plays it back to Dalot. We have three in there, and then Dalot plays it out wide to Rondon out to Archie Gray. We're able to play out of possession very easily. I'm going to pause it once in a while, and then you can see that Luke Ayling has possession of the ball. Luke Ayling is able to go out wide and inside, so the moment he has possession of the ball, he kind of just cuts inside at this point. And then as he cuts inside, he finds Yonto, who is playing as my striker, and Yonto takes it out wide, all to Junior Firpo. Firpo as well is playing as a fullback, but he kind of cuts inside as well and goes on to find Christian Somerville, who takes a shot at goal. The idea of this video is to try to recreate that Marcelo Bielsa's 4-1-4-1 system that was able to turn into a 3-3-1-3 system. You can see as Gray carries the ball all the way to Ayling now, and then Ayling runs inside and plays that to Yonto. Let's just take it back a little bit. And you can see as the moment Ethan Ampadu is in possession, I think we're going to take it all the way back to here. As soon as Ethan Ampadu is in possession, there's a triangle here between him and the two centre halves, and then he goes all the way back and kind of forms that back three. And slightly ahead of him you have Archie Gray, and then what's this other guy's name, Luke Ayling, and Junior Firpo on either side. Here's Firpo. So you have 3-3-1 central midfielder here in Gruev, and then you have the front three staying here out wide. You have Dan James, and then Yonto, and of course Christian Somerville out wide. And it kind of ends. That's the move. The move kind of ends with Somerville. So as the goalkeeper receives possession again from Ampadu, he plays it out to Rondon, and then of course the move continues with Ayling and goes all the way to Yonto, and Yonto squares it out to Junior Firpo out wide. Takes a while, but then the opposition can't actually get close to us and kind of touch possession because the team is actually fluid with how the way they move the ball, and it kind of ends with Somerville in there. It could have been a nice goal as well. Now you may have seen this 4-1-4-1 system, but this is kind of the makeshift version that was designed for Yonto because he was complaining too much that I was playing him in a different role. The original system is a flat 4-1-4-1 system with inverted wingers on either side playing in the flat midfield left position instead of the higher position that has the attacking midfielder on the left. Now Yonto was complaining because I use him as a striker, playing a lot, and he kind of wanted to play in the role that he's familiar with, which is the left out wide here where the inverted winger is slightly higher up. But the original system is a flat 4-1-4-1 system, and then you have a super keeper on defend DT. Normally I included player instructions for this tactic that are suited to how Marcelo Bielsa's team goes on to play according to my interpretation of it. I've seen a lot of Football Manager tactics for Marcelo Bielsa's system, and they're quite good as well, but this one, for me, I wanted to create something that was very close to what Marcelo Bielsa was actually doing with Leeds United, which is why I came up with this system. And you may not get that many trophies because it's an open tactics and attacking system, and it's not designed to try and exploit the match engine in any way. It is literally the original FM recreation of Marcelo Bielsa's system. And looking at the fullback on attack duty on the left hand side, this is normally Junior Firpo. Both fullbacks are going to get ahead and play in an attacking manner, but I have Luke Ayling playing on support duty and then Junior Firpo playing on attack. He's going to get a lot higher up the pitch, and he's going to take more risks and then tackle harder and also close down more. Most of the players in this tactic do have the close down more instruction. Luke Ayling, on the other hand, he's still going to get forward, but have you seen from the clips that both players actually have the ability to cut inside as well as cut outside? Luke Ayling on support duty is going to take more risks and then cut inside with the ball. His own is actually specific, but Junior Firpo, although it's not specified, he still goes on to do that once in a while. Ayling is still going to get further forward and then, like I mentioned, close down more and of course tackle harder. Both ball playing defenders in this case are supposed to stay wider, and Pascal Struijk and Rondon, those players are the two players that are going to stretch the back four, allowing for the Calvin Phillips role, which is played not really by usually Ampadu, not Gruev. This is kind of like a makeshift, but this deep line playmaker on support DT is going to slot into that space between the two ball playing defenders. The deep line playmaker is also been asked to close down more, and then you can see when he gets to the midfield position here, Mateusz Klich's role is taken by Gruev. Gruev is normally supposed to be here, by the way. So if we have Gruev in this role, what he's asked to do is going to shoot more often, because Mateusz Klich used to shoot a lot when he was at Leeds. He's going to also close down more and tackle harder. So essentially he's playing as a ball-winning midfielder and a box-to-box midfielder. He's going to somehow help out the deep line playmaker in the DM position, and is also going to kind of support the attacks and try to get into this number 10 space here, try to occupy this region, be the Pablo Hernandez role. But normally Archie Gray is going to be the one playing here. He's the playmaker in the team, kind of acting like an Egonch, which is what they kind of call the playmaker or the number 10 in Argentina. So he's going to play more direct passes, roam from positions as well. But now the two wide players are inverted wingers on attack duty. They are going to take more risk, and you see that I also included that they have the stay wider instruction, because they're going to stretch the pitch all the way wide, which allows Luke Ayling and Junior Firpo to kind of cut inside because they have that space to do so. Both inverted wingers on attack duty are going to take more risk and then roam from positions. Most of the players on this tactic also have roam from positions and close down more. Now the striker, which is the Patrick Bamford role, he's going to play as a pressing forward on support, but we've seen from the clips that the pressing forward somehow has the ability to hold up the ball, come in and act like a deep line play or a deep lying forward and kind of, take part in the build-up play. He's going to roam from position and roam into and move into the channels as well. So acting like an advanced forward, semi-deep lying forward, but he's also going to relentlessly press the opposition and try to win the ball back. I opted for support duty because I wanted him to be much of a team player. I used to misinterpret the pressing forward on support a lot. What happens is that if you have the pressing forward on support, I used to think that this guy was going to press the defensive midfielder, but that's not really the case. Down here it says that the pressing forward on support duty is going to generally look to try and bring his teammates into the game, which is what I'm looking for. If you have him play on attack duty, he's going to try to act more like an advanced forward and try to score by himself, which is quite selfish, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to ask the pressing forward to operate like a pressing forward on support duty. That's why we have that role selected. Now look, going into the team instructions. Now I'm not promising you that this is a plug and play or overpowered tactic. This is actually a verbatim replication of Marcelo Bielsa's 4-1-4-1 system, and an integral part of this system that we're going to look at is the opposition instructions. I mentioned that earlier before, but what I noticed that in this game, the kind of how Football Manager 2024 works, if you go on to apply opposition instructions like this on FM, you could still get good results in the game. That's why it's important that you actually scout the opposition and then try to figure out who their key players are. In Southampton, for example, we have Will Smallbone, and I know they don't have Ward-Prowse anymore. They have Kyle Walker-Peters as well, and some of the other players that are quite good. Jay Adams also. Some of these players you do want to kind of have a trigger on them because they're players that could cause you problems. But with Leeds United and Marcelo Bielsa, because the team is always pressing every single player relentlessly, having your opposition instruction that in a way that it kind of deviates from that can tear your team apart and just drift your players in different random positions. So I noticed that on 2 occasions I've tried having the opposition instruction turned on. We did get good results from it. I also had different scenario where I had the opposition instructions selected like this, and we completely got destroyed in the game. And also had this different scenario where I completely cleared the opposition instruction and my team actually played a lot better. So it kind of depends on your in-game management. Kind of observe what is happening inside the match and try to figure out if the opposition instruction is helping you or it's not helping you. I've kind of covered opposition instructions, but looking at the out of possession instruction for Leeds United and Marcelo Bielsa's system, there's a much higher defensive line because the emphasis on trying to win the ball back early is crucial to the way Leeds United play. So we're going to take the opposition as far from the defense as possible and then try to encourage them to play long balls, which is risky in FM24 because it kind of works for the AI so well where they play long balls. But in our preferences, kind of helps us as well to try and win that ball back early. And if you have physical players, you will go on to do that much more often. Trigger press and then prevention of goalkeeper distribution is very important because you have to actually force the opposition to play that long ball over the top. As all Bielsa's system are quite crucial, it may sound cliche, but counter press and counter are quite important in the way Marcelo Bielsa played. Trying to win that ball back as early as possible and then not just winning it back, look to counter the opposition when you have possession of the ball. And you notice that when I watched a lot of Leeds in 2021, Ilan Meslier had a lot of short kicks and it caused us a lot of problems as Leeds United, but it didn't stop them from playing out from the back. And I didn't select the distribute to position as the center backs or full backs or playmaker, just allowing the goalkeeper to decide when to play the ball out to either the center backs or the full backs or the playmaker. So just take short kicks, and you see from the clip from the beginning of the video that Ampadu actually received the ball from Meslier or from Caudalo, sorry, and then went on to recycle possession in that manner, and then we're able to play out of defense. Speaking of play out of defense, that's like the number 1 instruction for the in possession phase. When the team is in possession, they will look to play out of defense. Now when it comes to passing the renders, I didn't really force a shorter passing style of play, which is something I should have done, which I think I would still do as the season goes on. But currently I do have it on standard and we haven't racked up a lot of possession, but Marcelo Bielsa plays a possession-based style of play. What I do like to do is to turn on the walk the ball into the box instruction during the matches, and then it kind of helps us play a semi-tiki-taka style of play without being too wasteful. But of course, if you do see in the final version of this tactic that I do have the passing on shorter, do not be surprised. It's just going to be an update on the current version of the tactic, but currently it's set to standard passing. The team is also passing into space and playing with extremely high tempo, and they're kind of running at defense as well. That kind of encourages Luke Ayling and Junior Firpo to try and carry the ball through the middle, and it encourages all other players as well to try and take on a position and try to run at them. And being Leeds United in the championship, it kind of helps us run at the teams that are not so good as well. Now the general mentality for the overall system is attacking, because Marcelo Bielsa's system dwells on attack, and if the difference between attacking and positive is that the positive mentality tries to be wary of the opposition's counter attack, and with Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United team, that is not happening. We are not worried about the opposition's counter attack, even though they will still counter us. The emphasis is on trying to score as much as possible, trying to always dominate the opposition in the final third. So there isn't too much emphasis on trying to stop the counter attack. The issue is to try to win the ball back high up the pitch and then hit the opposition again with another flurry of attacks. So trying to stop the counter or trying to be so patient to not give the opposition the ball, it's not really how we're going to go about it. So that's why the mentality is set to attacking. So guys, you've seen Marcelo Bielsa's system and how it shapes out on FM 2024. Look at the shadow that we actually had early on in the season. We did do well in the friendly against Benfica. I think that was the first frame that you guys saw. We went on to beat Benfica like 6-2. We did have a 6-0 win over Fleetwood in the Carabao Cup, but we had a run of tough games against Everton. We did lose to Everton, and then we lost the derby to Sheffield Wednesday. Lost to Millwall as well. This Millwall game was quite important because it's where I figured out how the opposition instructions tends to work in this game. So you can choose to play with opposition instructions or without them. Depends on how you want to go about the game. And the recent game against Watford, this was a good one because I went on to play without the opposition instructions for the second half of the game, and we ended up scoring a lot more goals than we did in the first half. The first half we did have OIs turned on. We did still play well, but it was 1-1, and in the second half when I just went on to disable everything, we kind of had a lot more freedom to control the game against Watford. So if you did enjoy this video, do let me know in the comment section and let me know what you think about Marcelo Bielsa's system, especially for Football Manager 2024. I will attach a link in the description so you can download this tactic for yourself and then try it out with some of the other elite teams. Leeds United are quite good, and I don't recommend I use this tactic with a mid-table side or an underdog team because I don't think it's going to work. It's not designed that way. It's designed for the elite teams, so you probably need a team that is stronger than most of the other teams in the league to actually execute this tactic well, and I do recommend you use a strong team. Leeds United are one of the top 5 teams in the championship. It's still early days. We'll probably have a better season as we go on, so I do recommend I use a top team for this tactic. So I'll see you with more Football Manager tactic videos like this. If you did enjoy this one, do let me know. And to check out more tactics from Dark Horse FM, check out the channel playlist, or you can look at the recent 442 tactic for Football Manager 2024. I'll see you in the next video.